Okay, we got our first question. How long would it take? How long would it take to implement this into our country? So to implement like enzymes in fuel cells in general, or to implement fuel cells? So fuel cells, hopefully from the first slide, is clear that the fuel cell application are all over the place. Using enzymes in fuel cells is something that we are getting close at, and probably there are some examples there. The challenge that we need to overcome them is being able to produce, to scale up the production of enzyme and to make it stable under the fuel cell operation conditions. But the molecular biology is increasing in giant steps, so we are getting like really faster. So there are some examples already out there, but I'm pretty sure like we are getting close to have more and more enzymes in fuel cells for biotechnological application. One of the enzymes that we are using in the cathode, in the electrode that is doing the reduction of oxygen, lactase, actually this enzyme is widely employed in industry in the textile industry for other purposes, but it's another example how enzymes, they are nowadays already being employed in biotechnology. Okay, so another one. Which enzyme do you think is most effective to solve the energy crisis? So I think it's difficult for me to say one single enzyme because it's a combination of different enzymes, since hopefully at the beginning I was able to show that they perform very different reactions, but all of them are important for energy sustainability. So probably like the most typical one may sound the one that does the CO2 reduction, so either CO dehydrogenase or formate dehydrogenase, because they are able to reduce CO2, and basically so they will be able to capture the CO2 from the atmosphere and make either high valuable chemicals like formate, or reduce it to CO, that is widely used feedstock in industry. So that may sound like one of the most promising or very important, but I think many of them are performing different reactions, but very important reactions for energy sustainability. That's why I think it's important to study all of them. So another enzyme that I didn't mention in this talk, but is also extremely important, is the nitrogenase, and that's the enzyme that is able to fixate nitrogen from the atmosphere and convert it into ammonia, NH3. And basically ammonia is what is giving us food. Yeah, it's feeding half or even higher than half of the population in this world, because it is the source of nitrogen for producing everything, for producing amino acids and for producing all the fertilizers that are used in agriculture. So as I said, like all of these energy converting enzymes are important to study because we need to understand them better in order to be able to apply them in fuel cells, so in biotechnological application, but also in order to get inspiration and to get further knowledge how to develop better completely synthetic catalysts. Yeah. Okay. So how do you think? What do you think the future of renewable energy will look like? So, well, I want to think is going to be a system in which we do not depend of other countries for producing fuel and sending us the fuels, but that we are kind of somehow self-sustainable and are able to use renewable energy sources that are out there and are free, like sun, like wind, like hydro, and be able to use this energy to produce fuels. And we are getting better and better in developing strategies on how to store these fuels and later on be able to use them on demand for generating electricity. So I think it's going to be obviously more sustainable system, but that it will give every country independency, because we should be able to be self-sustainable, so to produce the energy that we need as a country. So we'll have like different stations in all the different countries, right? Because at the end, the only thing that you need is solar energy, wind energy, hydroelectric energy. So it's something that is able to get in all over the world, right? Okay, so what sort of efficiency do you get with these fuel cells? So obviously the one that I was showing the sample how we make them in the lab. So they are mini fuel cells. So of course we are using a porous electrode. So it has a large surface area, but still like the current, we are getting a current, but the current that we are getting is small just because it's a mini enzymatic fuel cells. But the efficiency of the enzymatic fuel cells, like large scale, like I do not have a concrete number now in my head, but it's getting pretty high. So because we are looking into strategies of basically making very porous and large surface area electrodes, I think, and the other important thing is the membrane to separate the two reactions. So the red and the blue electrode that I was showing, we are like step by step, but very fast, improving all these different parts of the system. So I'm pretty sure that we will continue increasing the efficiencies as well. Okay, another question. Could this kind of energy production be available to lower income countries or newly energy emerging economies? Of course, of course. So I think that's one of the main points, right? That we do not rely on carbon and on coal and other petrol, right? We rely only on energy coming from light, from the sun, sorry, from wind, from hydroelectric, from biomass. So it's basically just animal waste, plants. So these are resources that are available all over the globe. So in every single country, regardless whether it's a rich or not that well developed country. So I think that's the main point and why this renewable energy system is so powerful and so promising, yeah? Because it will bring all the countries at the same level or producing their own energy, if that makes sense. So another question, how much could this kind of energy production be more or less expensive compared to current renewable energy systems such as solar? So that's a very good question, actually, right? Because that's the main point of, or one of the main points that I wanted to come across today. Nowadays, this renewable energy system is not particularly cheap because we still rely on rare and expensive metals like platinum, palladium, and iridium. But if we are able to use enzymes that can be produced from bacteria and scale this production, or use the inspiration from studying these enzymes to develop catalysts that use earth-abundant metal like these enzymes, and these are nickel, this iron, molybdenum, so metals that are abundant in earth, that are easy to find, easy to produce, so meaning cheap, yeah? So if we are able to do that, to basically transfer and to move the renewable energy system that we have nowadays into using materials, catalysts, that are based on earth-abundant metals, like enzymes in nature do, then the cost will dramatically come down, will be way cheaper, and it will open doors to many countries and really change the world like we see it nowadays.